file FC23, The Bouncer. In 1999, everyone thought Square was releasing Ehrgeiz 2. They were wrong.
SIGGRAPH 1999. Square shows footage of 3 fighters battling ninjas in a cafe. Press reports call it a sequel to Ehrgeiz, the Final Fantasy VII fighting game spin-off. But the archives reveal something stranger. This became The Bouncer, Square's first PlayStation 2 game, a 2-hour cyberpunk brawler that critics called a failure. But it taught Square how to make every game that came after it. Also, I absolutely loved that game. I have fond memories of playing it over and over with my cousin, even though I got my ass whooped every single time.
Welcome to the archives. I'm your file clerk, and this is the file on Square's most important failure.
The Bouncer. March 2000 in Japan, August 2000 in North America, 3 bouncers working at a nightclub called Fate. A little girl named Dominique gets kidnapped by a megacorp. The bouncers chase her through the neon streets, which are so cool by the way, corporate towers, and a space station 2 hours long, 15 missions, and built by a team that should have never worked together. Square was so confident in a global launch, they recorded the English voices first, before the Japanese dub. They called it DVD quality. The Bouncer wasn't just a game. It was a tech demo for a new generation. And the first thing they wanted to prove was sound. The Bouncer's cutscenes run Dolby Digital 5.1 surround sound. Square even tried to get 5.1 working during gameplay. In 2000, on launch window, PlayStation 2 hardware, before most games even had stereo. The Bouncer uses every feature of the DualShock 2, including the one most games ignored: pressure-sensitive face buttons. Light press for weak attack, hard press for strong. It's one reason emulation is tricky, for modern controllers don't have analog face buttons. The game was built for hardware that just no longer exists. Then there's the physics. The Bouncer has ragdoll physics on day 1 PlayStation 2 hardware. Characters get launched, juggled, slammed into walls with weight and momentum. Reviews called it flashy tech, but it was more than flash. Square was learning how to make bodies move like they had mass. And yes, they used a bloom effect to hide PlayStation 2's aliasing problems. Soft glowing edges around characters and environments. It was uncommon for a launch-era console games that to even talk about post-processing effects. But Square was obsessed with making the PlayStation 2 look cinematic. Look at the Bouncer next to the other PlayStation 2 launch titles: Ridge Racer 5, Tekken Tag Tournament, SSX. The Bouncer looks like it's from a different generation. Because Square wasn't making a game, they were making a mother freaking statement. And the biggest statement was how you played it. Active character selection, ACS. After every cutscene, you choose which of the 3 bouncers you control: Sion, Volt, or Ku. The other 2 fight alongside you as AI partners. Different choices then unlock different story paths, which then unlock different cutscenes, and in the end, it does unlock different endings. So there's just so many times that you can replay this game. Even though it's only a 2-hour long game or so, there's so much replayability. Square called this a playable movie, short fights, wrapped in a long cutscenes. The structure was deliberate. You weren't just playing a brawler, you were directing an action film. Choose Sion, you get his perspective on the conspiracy. Choose Volt, you see different cutscenes and different things happen. The game has multiple endings based on who you control. But here's what most people missed. The Bouncer supports 4 players with a multi-tap. Battle Royale mode, 1 to 4 players, or AI filling slots hidden under the cinematic story mode, was a full party game. Fighting game DNA that Square buried because they were marketing a playable movie, not the brawler. E3 2000, Square showed the Bouncer to the world. The hype was massive. This was their first PlayStation 2 game. Final Fantasy X was still in development, pre-release coverage promised destructible environments, dynamic physics, a game that would redefine action. And when it launched, the reality was different. 2 hours long, repetitive combat, much hype features from E3 footage, like destructible scenery, were taken back for release. AI partners that got in the way, gorgeous cutscenes interrupted by clunky fights. Critics called it a tech demo, stretched into a full game. It sold honestly. Square moved to Final Fantasy X. The Bouncer became a punchline, a cautionary tale about style over substance. But here's what's filed in the archives. The Bouncer didn't fail because it was bad. It failed because it was early. Square was experimenting with how to make cinematic action games on new hardware. And the experiments didn't stop at launch. Because when you dig into the disc, you find something Square left behind. Hidden characters. Multiple versions of the final boss, Duragon. Overall Duragon, one-armed Duragon, shirtless Duragon, Dominique the kidnapped girl, fully playable, Wong, the Mikado Enforcer, PD4, the robot, even a black hooded Sion, unlocked with a button combo. All hidden versus mode, deep cuts for versus mode nights that most players never even saw. The Bouncer has a cult afterlife that defies its launch reality. Despite mixed reviews and modest sales, it kept a strained grip on people, including myself, and it still has a little bit of a strange grip on me. I find myself replaying the game every once in a while. Because the Bouncer did things no other game was doing, pressure-sensitive combat, branching narratives in a brawler, Dolby 5.1 ambition, a playable movie, structure that predicted God of War, Uncharted, and The Last of Us, Square was 5 years early. Just a little too early, guys. The Bouncer taught Square that ambition without execution is just a tech demo. But execution without ambition is just safe. And you need both. And sometimes you learn more from success than failure. File case 4501, PlayStation 2 game, The Bouncer. Criticized at launch, 2 hours long. Everyone said it was Square's most epic failure. In fact, it was just a foundation for everything that you know and you love about them today. I'm your file clerk. All right, I'm going to go file this. Boom.